Okay, so welcome everyone. For today's deep dive, we're taking maybe a slightly unusual approach. We're not
hmm
looking at the usual research papers. Instead, we've got official exam questions and their explanations,
Right.
specifically from the CCPI 2506 exam, which is all about SAP Integration Suite.
Okay.
Now, hold on. This isn't going to be a test, promise. We're just using these questions, as a kind of shortcut.
A map, almost.
Exactly, a map to get straight to the core functions of the integration suite.
Cool.
It's about finding those real aha moments, the practical stuff, without actually sitting the exam.
Yeah.
Just for context, the exam itself is web-based, 120 minutes, 60 questions, needs 75% to pass, and it's in English. Basic details.
And, those details actually matter more than you might think,
Oh,
even if
yeah.
you're listening and have zero plans to take the exam.
How so?
Well, because what these questions are designed to test,
Yeah.
what SAP considers core knowledge, that tells you a lot.
Ah.
It tells you about the fundamental ways systems connect, how they talk to each other, and crucially, how they stay secure in this incredibly connected digital world we're in.
Right.
Understanding the answers here gives you a practical handle on digital integration concepts.
Mm.
So our mission today is really to pull out the most valuable nuggets from these questions and their explanations, see how it all fits.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Our first question takes us straight into, well, security. Always a good place to start.
Absolutely.
It asks about the two main purposes of an API proxy within SAP Integration Suite's API management. The options were, let's see, A, secure APIs and protect backends. B, manage traffic and enforce policies. C, develop integration flows. Nope. And D, analyze performance. The correct answers were A and B.
Right.
So what's the key takeaway here? Why is this API proxy thing so important?
Well, the real insight isn't just what it does, but why it's so vital. Think of it like a combination of a really good security guard and a very strict traffic cop, standing right at the main entrance to your back-end systems. Its job, like the explanation says, is double-sided. First, security.
Mm-hmm.
It enforces things like authentication, authorization, even threat protection before a request gets anywhere near your sensitive stuff.
Right, intercepts it.
Exactly. And second, it manages the flow, the traffic. It applies rules like rate limits, how many requests per second, maybe quotas, how many total requests, to stop your backends getting swamped or, abused.
So it's really a gatekeeper.
The smart one.
Precisely. It's that
Yeah.
central point of control and defense. Without it, you'd have this kind of messy, vulnerable situation with direct connections everywhere.
That really puts it in perspective. It's not just a technical bit, it's a strategic piece of the architecture. Control is key.
Yeah.
But does adding this layer, this proxy, introduce its own problems? Like,
Yeah.
could it slow things down or create bottlenecks?
That's a really sharp question. And yes, potentially. While the benefits are huge, you are adding another step.
So there can be a tiny bit of added latency. Usually it's negligible, but it's there. And more importantly, the proxy itself needs careful setup and monitoring.
Ah, okay.
If it's not configured right, or if it isn't robust enough, then yes, it could become, a single point of failure or the bottleneck itself.
Right, so you need to manage the manager, essentially.
Pretty much. It needs the same care regarding resilience and performance as the systems it's protecting.
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got our perimeter secured. Let's peel back the next layer. What actually makes up the integration suite?
A building block.
Exactly. The next question was, which components are part of SAP Integration Suite? Again, two correct answers needed. Options were A, SAP Business Application Studio, B, Trading Partner Management, C, SAP Cloud Integration, and D, SAP Master Data Governance. And the right answers were B and C.
Yeah, and this gets right to the heart of what the suite is for.
Okay.
Its whole purpose is integrating different things, cloud apps, on-premise systems. So the key parts the exam highlights are, indeed, trading partner management.
Which handles...
That's all about managing your B2B interactions. Think automating agreements and processes with your external business partners. Really crucial for supply chains, logistics, that sort of thing.
Got it. B2B specific.
Yes. And then there's SAP Cloud Integration. This is, the real engine room. It's where you design, deploy, and actually run. The integration flows, the paths that data takes between systems, how it gets transformed along the way.
Okay.
So the key takeaway is the focus, integration and partner management. Tools like Business Application Studio, that's more for general app development. Master Data Governance, that's about data quality rules. Related, yes, but separate from the core job of connecting systems, which is what the suite is fundamentally about.
The distinction is really helpful, knowing what's in the specific toolkit for integration versus the broader company toolbox.
Exactly.
So, okay, messages are flowing between systems using these components, but sometimes you need to tweak the message itself, right?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Which brings us to the next question. What is a key function of the content modifier step in an integration flow? Options were A, transform payload XML to JSON, B, add, remove, modify message headers properties, C, conditional routing, D, securely store sensitive data. The answer was B.
Right, and the content modifier is, well, it's like a precision tool, surgical, almost. Its main job, as the answer says, is letting you fiddle with message headers. Think of those as the metadata, the envelope details of your digital message, or property-specific labels or bits of info you attach. You can add stuff, delete stuff, change stuff. You can even modify the main message body content slightly. It's super useful for enriching data as it flows, maybe adding a timestamp or a tracking ID, or maybe stripping out data that the next system doesn't need.
So it's not for big changes, like changing the whole format from XML to JSON.
Generally, no. That's usually handled by a different kind of step, a mapping step or a dedicated transformation step. Content modifier is more about fine-tuning the message details in its context, not radically overhauling its structure.
Okay, less rewrite, more annotation and adjustment, precision, like you said.
Exactly.
And talking about messages flowing, the way they flow is also fundamental. Next question looked at communication patterns, which are common message exchange patterns in SAP Cloud Integration. Two answers again. Options. A, point-to-point. B, request-reply. C, publish-subscribe. D, splitter-aggregator. Correct were A and B.
Yeah, this one covers the absolute basics of system conversations.
Right.
Point-to-point is just what it sounds like. One sender, one receiver, direct line. Simple, very common for things like update this specific customer record.
Straightforward.
Very. And request reply is also fundamental. Sender sends a request, then actively waits for a response, like asking a question and needing the answer right then. Yeah. Think synchronous API calls.
Like a phone call versus sending a letter.
That's a great analogy, yes. Yeah. Now, other patterns like publish subscribe, where one message goes out to many interested listeners, or splitter aggregator, where you break down a big message and put it back together later, those are definitely used in integration.
But less common, maybe.
Or perhaps just less foundational according to this exam's focus. The emphasis on A and B suggests that for SAP Cloud Integration, point-to-point and request reply are considered the most typical, the bread-and-butter patterns you build everything else on.
Got it. The core conversation types for systems. Okay, so we have components, we have ways to modify messages, we have patterns for how they talk, but things go wrong, right?
Oh, inevitably, especially in complex integrations.
So our last question dives into troubleshooting. When an integration flow has issues, where do you find detailed logs and trace info about a message's journey? Options. A, message monitor. B, security monitor. C, design monitor. D, trace log. Correct answer. A, the message monitor.
And this is absolutely critical for anyone actually running these things day to day.
I bet.
When you're trying to figure out why something failed, you desperately need to see what happened to that message at every single step. Where did it go? What did it look like? Did it hit an error?
Yeah, you need the breadcrumbs.
Exactly. And the message monitor is your primary tool for that. It gives you detailed logs, status updates, step-by-step trace information as the message moved through the flow. It's invaluable for tracking down problems, understanding what transformations occurred, identifying errors, just figuring things out quickly.
Saves a lot of guesswork.
Absolutely. Saves countless hours of frustration. Other monitors exist, sure, like the security monitor tracks logins and permissions, but for debugging the actual message flow, it's the message monitor, hands down.
That makes total sense.
Final thought for you listening. If this specific exam, CCPI 2506, puts such a heavy emphasis on these particular mechanisms, API security, message modification, basic patterns, and troubleshooting via monitoring, what does that signal? What does that tell you about where the real challenges, the true complexities, and maybe even the vulnerabilities lie when we're building this interconnected digital future?
That's a really pertinent question.
Thinking about that, understanding why these areas are highlighted, really empowers you to think more critically about system design, about reliability, no matter what specific technology you're working with. It gives you a framework.